Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Common Sense Show TV podcast. Today is March 4th. Man, where'd the time go? Good Lordy. All right, but it is Monday, so we're going to start for a brand new week. I know you guys missed me, right? I know I hadn't done a podcast in a couple of days, so today is a new day. Let's get started, all right? Be right back. All right, and welcome back to the Common Sense Show TV podcast. Today is March the 4th, Monday. Happy Monday to you guys. I know you guys missed me. So I am back today. So today's podcast is going to be a little different today because I'm always talking about my story and what I've done and what I try to do to help other people. Today, we're going to scale it back just a little bit, and we are going to I'm going to deem my Mondays as headline Mondays. So we're going to talk about everything today that is in the headlines. And boy, do we have some stories on today. I've read some, I've watched some podcasts, listened to some lives and some scopes about today's, society and what's going on. So I'm going to try my hand at that and see, how that works out. So here we go. Today, March the 4th. There's a couple of things I want to talk about first. One, I want to send my condolences to the families affected by the tornadoes down in Alabama and across that particular section of the country that were ravaged by bad weather and storms and such. So I really want to give my deepest condolences to those families that were affected by the weather. So if you guys know of anyone who was affected by those storms down there in Alabama, please send them my condolences. Send them your own condolences, and we are a family standing together. And so when one hurt, we should all hurt. So that's on today. Everybody that's down in Alabama that was ravaged by these storms. Now, one of the headlines that I'm reading on Google was that the tornado that hit Alabama, the damage from it looks like, and I quote, someone took a giant knife and scraped the ground. One of the sheriffs said down there, end quote. Listen, man, that's ravaged. If you can imagine the kind of damage that it took to, it's devastating. It's devastating. So my condolences go out to them. Now, I want to talk about what happened last week in Congress. Mr. Michael Cohen took to the stand with Congress and to talk about Trump and what Donald Trump has done and what he covered up and all that good stuff. And there was so many different takes and opinions about what he did. A lot of people are thinking that Michael Cohen is doing this to get time shaved off of his prison sentence. I mean, the man's going to prison. I mean, so I'm not sure what his meaning, his reasoning for doing what he's doing is, but I'm glad that he's doing it. I think that he is. I think the man has nothing to lose. I think that, whatever he covered up with Mr. Trump he covered it up. And our president, he is not above the law. And I think that he should answer for any crime, especially if it's founded, especially if there's proof and that he has done these things. I mean, listening to some of these allegations from Mr. Cohen last week when he was being questioned by Congress, it would seem like Mr. Trump has this gangster mentality, and maybe it's just me, and it's not, I'm not taking one side or the other. I'm just going by what I've heard, and some of the things when he uses the word rats in his speeches, and quickly demeaning congressmen who have served in the wars and all this other good stuff, and he mean tweets people, and it's just crazy to me. So it's all. And it's all crazy. right? So if you read any of his tweets, I don't know if any of you guys follow the real Donald Trump on Twitter. He is blatant with his witness tampering. So there are people that are talking about him and are making bad allegations against him. And as soon as he catches wind that they've done this, he'll go on Twitter and he'll say something mean and he'll demean them or something like that, which is crazy. So Michael Cohen is doing the right thing here. He's going to prison anyway. For what he has done for President Trump. Now, we can talk about Trump and we can talk about what he's done or hasn't done. Some things as president, he has done well. Other things, not so much. Now he's always comparing his presidency and legacy to Barack Obama and other presidents that have come before him. But what's crazy is that if you think about his administration, what has gone on since he's been in office. I mean, he's firing somebody every other week. He's always under investigation. I think he's under investigation for the Russian probe and all that good stuff. And when you think about that, how can one president seem to think that his presidency or legacy is better when you're constantly under investigation? I've never heard of a president under that much investigation. The last time I heard of a president and under that much investigation was Bill Clinton when he was doing his sexual thing with Monica Lewinsky or whatever. So I kind of get that particular comparison, but the stuff that he's doing is high treason against the country, and in the Constitution is there. For these things, that's in place, and he's breaking the law. He's witness tampering and all that good stuff, and it's just not right. How is he still president? I think I personally believe that because of what he has done, allegedly, if those things are proven that he's done those things, he should be impeached. That's just my personal opinion. But those of you guys who are listening, though, if he gets impeached, the guy that's standing next to him, Mr. Pence, is he much better than what we already have in office? So that's kind of the thing we want to question. Do we want to just impeach him now, put Pence into office, and maybe get more of the same, or do we wait for 2020 and this is what I'm out of office? I mean, I think that's one of the options that we have. I was reading another thing that happened when Spike Lee won his Oscar for Black Klansman. He got up and he made his speech about, and not even naming Donald Trump in his acceptance speech, was telling the people, just paraphrasing here. It just said, the election is around the corner. Choose love over hate, da, 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 da. And Donald Trump goes right onto Twitter and tries to demean Spike Lee. And Spike Lee, he couldn't read his speech and all that good stuff. Let me give you a word of advice or wisdom here, Mr. Trump, that Spike Lee, when he was reading his acceptance speech, was extremely excited for winning an Oscar. I'm not sure if that's his first Oscar that he won, but he was extremely excited. And if you're standing in front of thousands of people and you're reading your speech, he's reading his speech and he's kind of stumbled through. We all do that. Mr. President sits up there and he reads from a teleprompter and he still gets nervous. So it's the same thing. So how can you knock or belittle Spike Lee? See, all the fear mongering is going to stop going into the 2020 election, but that's just me. Other subjects that's going on. I was reading somewhere yesterday, I think it was, or the weekend, and one of the congresswomen, who is newly elected, who is Muslim, I can't think of her name right now. It escapes me, but there was a picture of her in the somewhere in DC where they took a picture of her and they spliced her picture with the Twin Towers, as in the terrorist act of 9/11, if you guys remember that. And I think that is so absolutely idiotic. Why would anybody want to do something like that? She had nothing to do with 9/11 because she is a particular religion doesn't tie her to 9/11. I think that's bananas that people do that. And it just goes to show you the depths of hate in this country and how divided we are. Now, we all understand that the country is the country. We've always been, a melting pot of different people, different races, shades, colors, sizes, all of that. But the level of hate that's being showed in this country right now is absolutely asinine. And I can't understand how do we get here? But, I don't knock people that are Republican and that they follow Trump and they believe in MAGA and all that good stuff. But my firm belief is that MAGA hat is the new white hood. And it's just really crazy to me. You support who you want to support. I have people on my Facebook timeline who are avid Trump supporters and they wear their MAGA hats proud, and that's fine. But it's cool to be gangster and bully behind a keyboard and want to get on social media and demolish or beat up on people who don't believe like you. And it's bananas. Now, me personally, I'm up to any dialogue to anyone with any religious background or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. But what you can't do is sit behind here and use terms like you people and MAGA hat, MAGA forever, all the good stuff. You can't do that. You can't do that. That particular term has caused more diversity or the more divide in this country than anything that's ever in American history. If you ever think about that, just for a second, MAGA, when you hear "Make America Great Again," that should put something in your spirit like, something ain't right. Because to be painfully truthful with you, this America hasn't always been as great as we make it seem out to be. As an African American man, I'm always looking out of my corner eye, because if I make a false move, or if I get stopped by the police and I reach from my glove compartment, or if I reach down and I look at them or whatever, I could be shot. Look at Fidel Castillo. He was in his car with his family, reaching for his wallet for a gun that he had registered, and did everything the cops told him to do, and they still shot and murdered him in front of his family. Now, as a black man, that's hard. I don't know what about that makes America great. Sorry. The whole thing with Colin Kaepernick, they was all mad about that. And Colin Kaepernick got severance from the NFL. There's no more grievance. That's done. People are still upset now that I just don't understand it. The division in this country is crazy to me. And for anyone to say or believe that "Make America Great Again" is a great slogan, and I'm just going to wear my hat proudly. So, we need to, might need to have a CAT scan or a PET or whatever they call it. CT. That's what it is. CT scan. Excuse me. So it's crazy. This is really crazy to me. All right. So moving on to the next subject. The next subject matter I want to talk about is Mr. Billy Porter. Now, if you guys watch the Oscars, as I alluded to earlier, Billy Porter is a homosexual actor, and he's been homosexual for a long time, right? So he's just not going to not be homosexual or whatever because the Oscars are here. But for those of you that may not be familiar, Billy Porter wore a tuxedo gown to the Oscars. And according to the articles that I've read, he really set the red carpet on fire with his gown. And so, of course, Black Twitter is angry because Billy Porter wore this tuxedo gown to the Oscars. So the question then came up in Black Twitter and around social media that why is he wearing this gown? Because it demasculates men. Now, me personally, here's my personal effect. This is my personal opinion behind what Billy Porter did at the Oscars. What Billy Porter did at the Oscars is no different than what rappers are doing these days with their demasculation and wearing band purses and all this other good stuff. For some reason, somebody believes that wearing a man purse is actually fashionable. I think it's beyond nuts. That's just my personal opinion. What would I eat? Don't make you guys crap. So it's not like, my opinion is set in stone. Billy Porter rocked whatever this was. I saw a picture of it. Billy Porter rocked this gown to the Oscars. Don't be mad about that. And men, talking about demasculation of men, let's be real honest here. All of the men that are talking about demasculation and he looked gay and all the other good stuff, don't do that, because demasculation didn't start with Billy Porter. Demasculation started when you ran from your responsibilities. Demasculation started when you didn't take care of your family. Demasculation started when you could not handle your business correctly and your life got jumbled. Don't talk about Billy Porter demasculating men. He didn't start that. Billy Porter is comfortable in who he is. Billy Porter was comfortable enough to rock a tuxedo gown to the Oscars. Now, could I do that? Absolutely not. I don't, no, sir. I don't see how Tyler Perry can do it. I don't see how any man can wear a gown at any point. I can't. So it took strength and it took passion. And he had a complete, and excuse my French for this, he had a complete, I don't give a crap attitude about what you think about me, because his mentality is what I eat don't make you shit. And so I'm just going to wear this gown. And he rocked it. Billy Porter rocked that gown. Now you can feel about Billy Porter how you feel about him. That's fine. Right. But Billy Porter did him. And that is what we need to do. Hey, and thank you for listening to the Common Sense Show TV. I really appreciate that. This episode and every episode like it is sponsored by the good folks over at Squarespace, where you can get your domain, your online store, and any tools you need for your online business right in one spot. You can also take your website and showcase your work. You can blog and do any, publish any content. You can sell all of your products right there online. Okay. So it's an easy one-stop shop for anything online as far as your business. So what I would like for you guys to do for me is to go over or head on over to squarespace.com/listen for a free trial. And whenever you guys are ready to launch, use the offer code LISTEN to save 10% off of your first purchase of the website or the domain you choose. All right. Again, head on over to squarespace.com/listen. That's LISTEN for a free trial. And when you guys are ready to launch, use that 10% offer code and get that off of your website or your domain. All right. That's enough. Apparently. So, another thing I want to talk about today, I got a lot of things to talk about today, but, my senator woman, Ocasio-Cortez, is killing Congress right now. She got them Republicans upset over there. I don't know about you guys if you heard, but when she does a questioning, she be killing the people. And if you ain't ready, you finna get it. You finna get it, boy. I love her. She should run for president. I'll vote for her. All day. Okay. What else? Let's see. Let's say so much stuff. There's one more thing I want to talk about. Why can't I think about it right now? My mind is gone completely blank. I had so much stuff. Billy Porter we covered. President Trump covered. The weather we covered. What else? Oh, one more thing while I'm looking for my other story here. It looks like Bernie Sanders is making another run for the White House. Yeah, no. That's just me. And I was a strong Bernie supporter back when he ran again, back when he ran 3 years ago. Yeah, I think that Bernie should let it go. I think, even if he gets elected to the White House, I mean, how much time this man really got? Think about it. I mean, Bernie's already like 82, right? Or something like that. Not really sure, but he is, yeah. He's got some ways to go. All right. So Bernie, listen, everybody who's a Bernie supporter, listen, I'm not finna knock you. That's what you believe. You think Bernie will be the best for the country, then by all means, vote for him, support him, all that. Me personally, I won't, because Bernie and it's not because of his policies. I think it's because he's too old. That's just my personal opinion. Me. Okay. And I'll repeat that in this podcast, because I want everybody to understand that these podcasts, my podcast is, and these opinions are firmly those of me and not anyone else. Okay. Last thing I'm going to talk about before I go today, I'm going to talk about Debbie, the lady that called the cops on a black man because his dog was humping hers. I don't know if you guys have read that. Let me see if I can get that story pulled up real quick. Hold on one second. Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to get that pulled up here. Because I heard that story and I thought I was going to lose my mind when hold on. Let's see. Yeah, this woman called the cops. Oh man, I can't find it. But anyways, what happened with this lady? Miss Debbie was in the dog park with her dog. And my guy who actually videoed the whole thing, and that video is somewhere on YouTube, I'm sure it is. I know I saw it on Facebook. The guys up at Mild Sauce podcast up in Chicago, those guys, they covered that a little bit on their podcast. What's up, Nas Bay and all those guys up in Mild Sauce podcast. Those guys are great. And this woman called the cops on a man, a black man who was in the park right along with her, and called the cops on the man because his dog was humping her dog. Let that sink in for a minute. Let that marinate like neck bone juice real quick, like Country Wayne would say. She called the cops on a black man because his dog was humping her dog. Now, if that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your life, give me an amen where you sit. It's crazy. Seriously, what is this world coming to? You gonna call the cops on me? It's just like, I have two puppies. You guys can probably hear them in the background. I got two puppies. I got Sparky and I got Bud. Those are my two babies. And so if my dog goes out, and I live in a predominantly white neighborhood, so if my dogs go out and humps on my neighbor's dog, it's cool for them to call the cops on me? I mean, what's the charge gonna be? Somebody tell me. Somebody leave me a message and tell me where's the charge going to be if my dog is humping your dog and I'm black and you're white. It ain't rape, is it? I mean, I don't know what they call it, but it's crazy. It's absolutely asinine bananas. Like, really? And that is the society that we live in, to where it is okay. We've heard different stories about it. The lady that called the cops on the kid for selling water on the street. That lady, you got the lady that started the whole thing with calling the cops on the black family in Detroit, I think it was, at a barbecue in the park. I mean, what is it really? Sometimes I don't really understand the hate, and it's nerve wracking a lot of times. If you read the stories, it burns you all the way. Like, huh? So you mean to tell me that I can get the cops called on me if my dog is up in your dog? Come on. That's crazy. And then we look at, if you look at how the law works. I was reading a story the other day, to where a young man, Caucasian male, who received 6 months for the murder of a black woman. Let that sink. Let that marinate. He got 6 months for murder. I'm gonna 6 months for the murder of a black woman. And it's so sad. Now, had that been an African American that murdered a Caucasian or a white person, they would have brought the chair to his house. It wouldn't even have been, you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have brought a chair to his. They would have brought a chair to his house. But this woman who was murdered by this man, he received 6 months. So let me guess. I'm going to assume this. I don't have the story in front of me, so I can't read it. But this is what I would say, is that he had a mental illness. And they felt like if they gave him any time in prison, that would ruin his psyche more. Like I said, I don't have the story in front of me, but I can guarantee you, it's kind of it's cookie cutter. It's all the same. Just like the guy that killed all the people in Florida at the banks. You ever heard anything else about that? Want to know why? Because that young man's still breathing. Had that been an African American that did that, they'd have run the chair. You killed 6 people. You killed 6 women, 2 of them being cops. That'd have been an African American that would bring the chair to his house. I promise. And it's crazy. It's unfair. This society is really getting out of hand. And you want to blame the president because it's easy, because he's the fall guy, right? What society should understand is that it has been this way for years. It's just the fact that he's now in leadership and that he now condones violence, then it's okay. Now it's okay. And so I was reading the other day on my Facebook, there's a young man who was like, and he's a good friend of mine. At least I thought he was. And he was like, one more person said something about my MAGA hat, I'm going to fight. Ooh, really? That's what we're going to do? You know what I'm saying? So, because I don't believe in MAGA, you're going to fight me? Okay, cool. That's just crazy. I mean, and if you guys don't believe anything that I say about Donald Trump and think that he is not the author of violence, listen to me. He did a press conference while he was running for president. And he said in one of his press conferences, I can go out and shoot somebody in the middle of Manhattan and he wouldn't get charged. If that ain't gangster mentality, I don't know what is. But this is the man that you voted in office. I'm just saying. But he doesn't condone any violence. This man was talking about Charlottesville, Virginia, and said there were nice people on both sides. If you guys remember Charlottesville was when the Nazis and the skinheads did a rally in downtown by the college, either down by the college or downtown someplace. And one guy took his vehicle, ran through the crowd, killed a mother of 3, I think it was, who's a bystander, but they were nice people on both sides. I think it's crazy. If you don't believe this man condones violence, if you don't believe that this man hates other people other than him, then you're sorely misinformed, and you need to do a little bit of your research. He has no respect for no other race other than his. He doesn't have any respect for any other sex other than his. When he was in running and he had that press conference and he said, or he's on the bus and he says he grabbed women by the pussy. Where's the respect in that? How is he so big on illegals when his wife is foreign? Sometimes I just don't get it, but this is the man that you voted in office. We're talking about, Michelle Obama, and how she was a monkey and she was all this and that and she wasn't classy and all this other good stuff. But you got your wife who never gets on camera, right? Who has a shirt or a jacket that said, I don't care. Do you? really? And this is your first lady, but she's the classiest first lady ever. No. You know what I'm saying? But I said all that to say this. The society as it is crazy. It's crazy. It's unfair. And someone has to be a beacon of hope. Somebody has to step up and say, you know what? No more division in this country. We can't have it. We are all here together. Because guess what's going to happen, you guys? If an asteroid hit this rock, we all dying together, right? It ain't going to be, it's not going to be just the asteroid coming down and killing all black people or all Asian people or all Muslim people. It's going to kill everybody. So we are here together. We have to find a way to live in harmony. Now, if you have an art with me, if you don't like me for whatever reason, that's fine. But don't walk around and hate a society or hate a race because of a skin color. If anybody does a genealogy report or 23andMe or what's the other, Ancestry.com or whatever that is, if you do any of those, you're going to find out real quick that we all come from Europe, that we all come from the other side of the ocean. None of us are native to this country. None of us. And as soon as the faster you realize that, and the faster we can turn around and love everybody for who we are, we'll be okay. Secondly, if you are a person of hate, if you believe whatever, if you are walking the Christian walk, if you believe in Jesus Christ, if Jesus Christ is your savior, then there is no way that you can talk about hating someone else because of a different race or different color, different creed, different belief system. Those ones that are hollering, I'm so saved, I'm so holy, I believe Jesus put Donald Trump in office. You're lying. I don't believe, no. And if anybody watching this podcast and you disagree with what I say, I'll be more than happy to debate anybody. But if you are a believer and you condone the hate that's going on in this country, the hate that is starting from the top, from 3800 Pennsylvania Ave, if you believe that, if you believe what he's talking about and you stand by what he's saying, you cannot seriously consider yourself a man or woman of God. You can't, because God is love all day, always has been, always will be. And you can't tell me that what's going on in this country today is anything God driven. None of it. But that's just me, in my opinion. So thank you for listening to me on the Common Sense Show TV podcast today. I really do appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and subscribe and follow. That way you get notified every time I do a podcast. My podcast schedule has changed. I'm only going to do my podcast on Mondays and Tuesdays as of my off days from work. So Mondays and Tuesdays I do my podcast because I have other social media things happening that takes my time. So Mondays and Tuesdays, the podcast will go down. So make sure you're listening for that. If you're subscribing, you should be able to get a notification to let you know that it's an available podcast. Until then, you guys have an enjoyable Monday. I'll be back on tomorrow morning for a Tuesday morning podcast here at the Common Sense Show TV. Hope you have a great day. Be blessed and love each other. All right. Peace. Yeah.